Hello, Towards a Smarter World listeners. This is your host, Saunders, and today we have some bonus content for you. Recently, I was a guest on the Aprimo Marketing Cheat Codes podcast. It was a great conversation with Ed Brial, and we discussed the radical impact of standardization and orchestration on content operations. What does it mean, and what does it look like for teams and customers when content works well together? Find out.
When you work with clients, when you work with brands, you work with some amazing brands, what does your approach look like? Where do you start with your brand patients, so to speak, and get to understand their, the diagnostics, if you will, what their objectives are? What does your method look like?
Well, usually we start at some level with the customer journey because we're working to serve customer needs at the end of the day. We don't want to work on content plumbing without understanding what is the fountain we want to create at the end of the plumbing, right? So we really kind of want to build an understanding of what are the experiences that the organization is working toward today. What's the actual shippable production environment today? What do those experiences need to look like in the future, right? And so for a lot of organizations, they're moving towards something, personalization, some form of composability, which is essentially, I need all my departments to be able to create things on the fly. I can't wait for IT to kind of work through the process of shipping a web page, right? Like I need to have components that are reusable and remixable by my departments, right? Or they're moving towards some kind of intelligent experience for customers, which means, hey, I'm a medical device company, and now I want an immediate set of content to help that patient through the next steps in their process. Or I'm a fintech company, and I want somebody to be able to call up and us to know that they're on step 5 of 8 in a chargeback process and pick them up right there and help them complete because of, how we're interacting between call center and web and mobile. And so all of that symphony of outcomes is kind of the basis. And then we work back to the patterns and we try to understand, well, what are the content models and what are the semantic models that support those experiences? So what are the words, like the taxonomies, and how those need to get tagged across our assets? And what are the content structures that support these experiences? And then we help our clients really develop a set of sheet music that all their teams can work against. And then in some cases, we actually build those orchestration functions with the client. But that's how we treat content today. There's no standardization between different content technology. Everybody's building their own thing in their own little silo. And so the cheat code is, hey, look, I need to be able to get electricity working across the city. We're going to set up a standard for how electricity works, right? And we're going to set a standard for what plugs look like and how they interoperate. And then we're going to set up some kind of regulation so that, we don't blow up houses and burn down playgrounds and stuff. We need to make sure that we're interoperating and it's safe. So there's some kind of standard process for it. So content models are basically like, what are the rules of the road for how our content is going to work between our CMS and our PIM and our product information management system and our e-commerce system and our watch and our chatbot? And can we get those all mapped so that they can actually function together? And can we provide a little bit of orchestration so that it's not just the individual departments making it up, but they have the ability to kind of, do their own thing out of the pieces and the parts that we all agree to share. So we want to empower the creators, but we also want to make sure that the parts they're creating are able to work together across the technology. We need to look at this thing as a portfolio and start to orchestrate it. We need it to not be broken in all these places and everybody doing their own ad hoc thing, right? It becomes an AdHocracy. And so instead of an AdHocracy, we really want an orchestration, right? So that's what we're working towards, is finding those sponsors who can actually affect portfolio level change.
Yeah, you need it at the portfolio level, which is what you're saying, in order to go. But then like the business case for change, I'm sure you get brought in on we know we've got a problem. We know we've got 15 different types of electricity that's being created here. We need to get to a standard. The business case, in order to initiate the change, to get it to be portfolio level, what are some of the, I'll call it, the strategic relevance of the change and or the impactful business metric movers that has the potential for an organization to get chartered at the level for it to work?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately,
Don't miss the full episode. Follow the link in the episode description to listen in. And until we meet again, take one step at a time towards a smarter world.
This episode of Towards a Smarter World is brought to you by the Content Intelligence Service. Learn more about intelligent customer experience powered by content strategy, engineering, and operations at simpleA.com.